So hello, this is Intra. Today, literally this morning, Lugalbanda lost his gold crown. So I've developed a setup in order to get that crown back that I hope you watching this video hope to follow. So basically what we're doing is we have our character here who is repeatedly getting hit and will die, as we're going to see in a second. Right there. And then we have HB over here who is constantly getting 3000 TP and is reviving us. So let's go and see what the setup to that is. Alright, so here's the build on how to set up the AFK farm. Importantly for class, we are the Enforcer class because it has the lowest HP in the game, which is very useful. For ground gear, the Jet Black Devil Wings have -10 in every resistance. Particularly, we care about having the lowest ether resistance, lowest thermal resistance, and lowest physical resistance right now. The Combat Rain, Gaunt, and Thighs also have negative physical, thermal, and ether, and are the lowest in the game. These are also from the shop for the lowest defense value. For our weapons and stuff, we have ranged appendage damage and 1 night vision, and this is just to get the setup going. And then for our party member HB, most important is the ramjet rifle, and with a magazine capacity up. That's like really important. Also, the accuracies here are like super important. So yeah, the ranged accuracies. And then HP is the opposite of our character, where we want the most physical resistance, most thermal resistance, and most ether resistance possible. So this is what our gear looks like. I want to point out this is really important to have on our chest piece. It allows HP to just automatically heal. And this is useful for the out of bounds method, but if you're doing inbounds method, it's useless. Also for the shield, it needs to have physical resistance up. However, you can get a physical thermal resistance or physical ether resistance, or even a thermal ether resistance shield would also work. I do not have those shields, but they're really ideal. So HP actually has a little too low physical resistance because the enemy inflicts physical res down, so we actually need more than 100. And in order to make up for that, we have these probes right here to give HB more resistance. Problem is this also affects the our playable party character, and that's not great because we want them to have the lowest resistance so they die. I'll be getting it eventually pretty soon after this. I just don't have it right now. But you don't need it to do this, so I just wanted to show the cheaper setup. And then once we have all our setup going, we very importantly need to go and break appendages.
Okay, let's go.
So here's the inbound setup if you want to do it. I'm just gonna wait for HP to give me some TP.
I like it a lot.
And I'm using my ranged appendage damage and my night vision. The night vision so I can hit him, and the ranged appendage damage is just to break his appendages. This first one, the head, actually isn't necessary to break. It just inflicts virus, which is like a pretty nasty debuff that we don't want to deal with. The legs are very important to break because that beam attack he did right there is one beam, and we can't quite deal with 4 different attributes on HP, so we want to get rid of this. But also it inflicts control, which is like super nasty and not something we want to deal with. We're also breaking all 6 of his legs because his tails have electric attack on them, and we again only want 3 attributes, not 4. Now that everything is broken, we have limited the attacks that he can do, so we're just going to go... Wait, I need to pull out my weapons again. We're going to tell melee HP to only use range attacks, and then we're going to tell him to assemble.
Give that a try.
Yeah, there he goes. He's killing us.
Sleeping on the job.
And so yeah, we just set the controller down, and we AFK, and we're just gonna leave this running.
Sleeping on the job.
Something of important to note is every time you get revived, you have 10 seconds of invincibility, which is quite annoying. Another thing to note is that the enemy will attack whoever is closest to him.
On the job.
But when he revives me, you can see that HP is slightly a little bit behind me. And also, even though I go behind every time, there's this little leg that's like behind me, and my collision is going into that. So whenever I die, I don't actually go backwards because this is acting like a wall behind me. So yeah.
They saw us. What's the fireworks?
I'm willing to give that a try.
Launching missile.
Powering up would be the smartest. I'm taking a shot from above.
Scally you later.
Good strategy. I approve.
Oh,
Oh, open fire. Sleeping on the
give that
job.
to me. Let me out.
And you can see the resistant probe letting me live right there, which is why you really want a double resistant
Sleeping on the
shield.
job.
To me. Let me out.
And yeah, so every single time that this guy kills you, that is going to count towards the total global deaths that the enemy has done to players. And if you keep dying to him and keep getting revived, then that's going to increase his death count. The only caveat here is you need to be online when he kills you. So if you ever disconnect, which it's Nintendo Online, so you're going to disconnect, you need to completely exit the fight and then reset it all up, which is really annoying. But yeah, other than that, just completely AFK. I'm not pressing anything on my controller, and it's just gonna keep going forever until we set it off. And after his total death count increases enough, he'll be back to gold, and I think this will be done by like hopefully the end of the weekend if enough people do this. And if you have over 10,000 kills on this guy and your KD isn't negative, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And another issue you run into is if the Nintendo Switch turns off, you need to go into sleep mode settings, and you need to change whichever setting you're using. I'm connected to the TV, to never.